Hey there guys, welcome back, Ricky here. Alright, so I was going over my messages not long ago and I came across a conversation that I had with one of my subscribers. His name is Agent58, or his name is Dean, and his handle is Agent58. But basically I found out that Dean was actually blind, and not to read you the entire conversation, I'll leave it up on the screen. But he's basically 90% blind in his right eye, and his left eye can only see vague shapes. And so he's legally totally blind, and he's been blind for 16 years after his stroke. And the really cool thing about this is, not that he's blind, but even though he's blind, he still rides a moto. I think that is so cool. And he explains that, I helped him sharpen a knife, even though he's blind. He sharpens his ceramic Kyocera. And so I want to take this chance to actually make a video of me sharpening a knife completely blind, blindfolded. And I've never practiced this before, so just kind of full disclosure here. So I want to thank Dean. So thank you, Dean, for really being an inspiration. I think it's so cool that you continue to live your life even though you have what many people would consider, including myself, a major handicap. So this video is for you, Agent58, Dean from Oz. So this is a real person, guys. I'm not making this up. You guys can go on my videos and look up Dean, Agent58. He's all over my comments, and he's just a really cool guy. So I'm gonna do my best to not get cut and not hurt myself. So let me walk you guys through my setup here, and that way we have everything kind of established. I have some water on the side, and I'm using a really flat surface today because I don't want to have a bridge that may give me any sort of, leveling issues where I'm feeling for different things. To me, this silicone mat is probably the best base to use because it's very, very flat. I've got a Deburring whetstone here by Suihiro. It's a 2000 grit whetstone, and I've got my Masamoto KS. So what I'm gonna do here is, my goal in today's video is not only to not cut myself, but I want to get an edge that is usable by, let's say, my standards. And so I'm going to do a quick cut test on the Masamoto KS, get a baseline sharpness, and then afterwards I want to hopefully get a edge level that is about 10%, within 10% of sharpness as the sharpness that it is now. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, 228, so sharp, not razor sharp, but sharp. And it's just above razor sharpness. This is probably a knife that I sharpened a week ago, and I've done some cut demos with it. So anyways, it's still considered fairly sharp according to Edge on Up's chart. So according to Edge on Up, anything between a 300 and 200 score measured in grams is considered high-end cutlery edge. Okay, so right now it's on the low end of that scale, so it's just over utility razor blade sharpness. So so consider, this is more or less considered razor sharp by most standards. Okay, so we're gonna put this away. We are going to dull the knife on the brick, which I may or may not save you guys, spare you guys from. Okay. So here it is. I'll do this without being blind. Okay, so let's just get this over with. We'll run it 20 times on the brick, or give or take a few times. I never get 20 properly. Okay, I don't know how many that is exactly, but yeah, it's not gonna cut anyone right now. So very dull, very dull. All right, so now I've gotta blindfold myself. Okay, so I'm gonna have to roll this a few times, make sure it's nice and opaque. It's pretty opaque. I mean, it's a charcoal shirt. You're not gonna see through it even with one layer. Yeah, I mean, I can see a bit of a shadow just because the lights are coming in. But I'm gonna fold it a few times, make sure I'm completely blind, or yeah, make sure I can't see anything. Okay. Yeah, I'm blind. Okay, so how do we get this started? Are we ready? Make sure I have the right knife. Okay, so don't try this at home, okay? And this is my disclaimer in the video. Don't try this at home. Yeah, okay, so let's, we have the knife, stone, we're good. And we're not gonna worry about stropping right now. I just wanna get this, well, maybe I'll strop as well. Okay, and we have a strop. So I know not everyone strops, but I have a strop here for later. Okay, so I'm gonna do the entire process blind. I've got my stone and my strop, my water, and my knife. I think we're ready to go. Okay, so let me just, the shirt has been rolled 3 times, so essentially I've got 6 layers. So it's a double, it's got still have the front and back of the shirt. And so I'm gonna fold it once and fold it twice. So now I've got 6 layers between my eyes. So 6 layers of t-shirt, black or charcoal. And tie the t-shirt. Okay. Oh, my heart is pounding right now. Okay, so. Okay. So the first thing I've got to do is just wet my stone with my left hand. Make sure I established a system here. So put this right by my foot. Okay. So the key thing for me is memorizing where the stone is in relation to myself. So my knife. Okay. All right, so normally I sharpen the right side of my knife first. Okay, so this time I'm gonna walk you guys through it because I really should walk you guys and myself through this, being that it's the first time doing it. Okay, so I don't wanna risk cutting myself with the knife. I don't want to risk cutting my left hand with the knife by putting my hand in the stone or the hand and the knife at the stone at the same time. So what I'm going to use is use my right hand as a guide. So I'm going to put my fingers on my left hand on my right hand that's holding the knife and bring it towards the spine. And then from there, I'll feel where the stone is. All right, so I'm going past the stone with my hands, and then I use my pinky to find where the stone is, and this is where my stone is right now. And I bring the knife slowly down to the edge, or to the stone surface. All right, so now the tricky part is bringing my tip of the knife to the stone. Okay, so I've got my tip on the stone. Now cutting edge, cutting angle. All right, so sharpening angle, again, you guys know it's not the most crucial thing. I'm gonna go with the angle that it's sharpened at now, whatever it is. It's probably about 15 to 17 degrees, one of those. And let's start. Let's see, where's the tip of the knife here? Okay. Oh, this is harder than it looks. Okay, here we go. How do we sharpen the tip of this knife here? Okay, so I found the tip of the knife. Now the hard thing is, oh my goodness, this is actually much more difficult. Okay, so the hard thing is I'm gonna lift the knife off really, really slow here. Feel for the length of the stone. Okay. Again, use my other hand to guide. Find the tip of the knife. And from there, I wanna find the edge. Oh, geez, there's the edge. There's one edge. Okay, I need to try something a little different here. So I'm gonna lay the knife flat on the stone. And there's the tip, okay. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna be careful not to move the knife too far forward or too far back. And okay, so I'm gonna go real slow at first. I'm being very careful not to move the knife too far because I don't want to go off of the stone. And so walking my fingers right now, it's also a bit of a challenge because I don't really know where the knife is in relation to the stone. So I'm just very, very careful right now. And I can move a little bit faster maybe later on, but right now, taking my time. Okay, so right now I'm at the heel. Feel the knife. Yep, the heel is on the stone. Yeah, I'm give it about 15 degrees or so. Okay, so I'm not going to completely lift the knife. Well, I can. So yeah, so if I want to lift the knife off the stone, I can. And then if I want to feel for the burr, I bring the knife spine first. That way I avoid any sort of edge coming towards my other hand. So that's the easiest way and the safest way I can imagine to bring the knife towards me. Then I feel for the burr on the left side of the knife. Okay, so no burr yet. So there's a stone. Okay. So what I did right there was I put my knuckles on the stone first, and then I tilted the knife, turned the knife over, and then I ran the knife with the spine against my finger. Middle finger of my left hand. And there's my tip. There's a stone. Okay. Moving very, very slowly up the stone. Go about 4 to 5 strokes per section of the knife. Okay, now I believe I'm on the stone. Yep. There's something wobbly on my table. I need to check it out. Where's the wobble? Can't figure out what that wobble is. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. Okay, so feel for the burr. No burr just yet. This is probably the wrong stone to use as well. It's only 2,000 grit. I should be using a 1,000 grit stone. But we'll get there. Okay, I'm coming close to the right edge of the stone here, so I'll move the knife over. Whoa, okay. That wasn't my finger, that was actually the edge of the stone. I grinded into the edge. Okay, rookie mistake. Let's just start over. Okay, found the tip. Here we are. Okay. Okay, the knife is on the stone. The heel is on the stone. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there is no burr. Okay. This stone is too slow cutting for what I'm using it for, especially being dulled on the brick 20 times. I'm actually gonna grab a different stone, and that'll make it a little easier to listen to and a little easier to sharpen. Whew. I'll be back. All right, so I've got my Trocera here. This is the stone that I use often, and it's an 800 grit stone. It will actually allow me to listen and hear better than the 2000 grit stone. So back to darkness. Okay, let me retie this here. Okay, here we go. Bring it a little higher. Okay, here we go. Okay, where's my water? Yep, there's my knife. So now this stone here is actually more narrow and shorter than the Deburring, so I've got to be very careful not to roll off the edge. Okay. There is the, okay, here we are. Much better. I can hear the stone a lot better. Okay, the sound just changed on me, so I gotta figure out where the knife is right now. Go real carefully. Okay, so, okay. That could have been me changing my angle, but I think the knife just moved to a different part of the stone. Oh, what's that grinding noise? The heel? Yep. Okay, no burr yet. Okay, where's the stone? Okay. So I'm back at the tip. Oh, whoa, I'm grinding on something here. Grinding on the left side of the stone. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Okay, is that the heel? Yep. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm taking a lot longer to develop a burr right now. And even though I'm going by feel, and when I sharpen, I normally go by feel, but without seeing the edge of the stone, I don't know how long my strokes can be, and so that's really limiting the amount of cutting I can do on the knife's edge at this point. So what I'm doing right now is once I stop, I pull my fingers, drag my fingers from the edge of the blade across to the stone. It tells me exactly how much of the stone I'm actually sharpening on, or how much of the stone is on the left side of the knife. So right now I feel like there's maybe about 1.5 inches, and so I'm pretty close to the center of the stone. Maybe I'll move it over to the left, maybe just 1/4 inch. Okay, feeling for the heel. Okay, not quite there yet. I think the stone sounds a little dry. Okay. Okay. Okay, kind of feeling from the blade to the stone, making sure I stay over the center, over the middle of the stone. No, the pitch just changed again. Okay, I'm over to the right of the stone too much. I'll go back to the left side. Okay. Okay, should be over the heel. Yes. Okay, so we are getting very close to a burr. Nice even burr. So the tip needs a little bit more work, and the very bottom of the heel needs a little bit more work. Okay, getting there. We're getting there. Okay, here we go. Where's the tip? Here we go. Okay, so the tip should be done. Yes, it is. So I'm not so worried about going from tip to heel in a single pass because obviously for many reasons. Okay. Okay, right in the middle of the knife, right here. Oh, whoa, I'm on the edge of something here. I'm on the edge, left side edge of the stone. Back off of here. Okay. Okay, make sure over the center of the stone. Okay, so we have a nice even burr, or relatively even, from the tip to the heel. Now we turn the knife around. The stone is still nice and wet. Okay, so now here's a different challenge of finding the stone. So this is the stone I can feel with my hand. I know the length of the stone, and I'm gonna find the middle of the stone. And now I'm gonna use my spine, so I can freely just tap the spine towards my finger, bring it towards my fingers, and I know exactly where I want the stone, or where I want the knife to sit on the stone. So here is the tip of the knife. Okay, and now I know I'm pretty close to the center of the stone based on where my left hand was, where I left my finger. And this is the tip of the knife on the center of the stone. Okay. So now I have to visualize. I'm going to visualize in my mind somehow that I'm going to stay over the center of the stone. Okay, so now I know that I have to turn my knife so that I don't get the bolster or the ferrule of the knife grounding against the edge of the stone. Okay, the tricky part is turning the knife. Okay, so as I turn, I'm going every few centimeters and making sure that I'm not going towards the back of the stone right now, because I feel myself going back slightly. Okay, so I'm gonna turn. Okay, so now I think I am perpendicular to the stone in terms of the angle. And the knife's heel is about 3/4 of an inch off of the stone. So my weight should be right over here somewhere. Okay, I think I have the heel over the stone. Okay, I do. Okay. So now to feel for the burr, I'm not going to worry about it just yet, but I just want to get myself ready for it. Is I put my hand on the spine, then bring my thumb down, and drag my thumb from the spine towards the cutting edge. Okay. Now again, feel for the stone. Make sure I'm straight. Okay, here we are. The stone is here. Okay. Now, I'm doing my best to stay as linear as possible. And I want to make sure that when I'm pushing straight, not at an angle. Okay, the pitch just changed on me, so I know that I either altered my angle somehow, or I moved to a different area of the stone. Yeah, okay. And it could also be a little dry. Oh, okay, that was an edge. Okay, that was the right edge of the stone, so I need to move left. Okay, yeah, and so on the left side of the knife, I find myself kind of almost compensating and going slightly towards the right, so I need to just make sure that I make a conscious effort to stay slightly left when I feel like I'm drifting right. That sounds better. Okay, so now go for the heel, make sure that I'm nice and perpendicular. Feel for the burr. Not quite there yet. And I know that it's not gonna probably develop as evenly as I like it because I feel myself changing my angles a little bit. And this is this is a bit more challenging than I thought. I think the stone needs a little bit of water. Okay, when I reach for my knife, I want to make sure I'm very flat-handed and I go straight down so that I don't actually touch the blade and cut myself. So I know that I'm on the handle, then I wrap my fingers around the handle very slowly and gently. Okay, I'm on the right side. Yeah, see, again, I find myself being on the right side of the stone, so I've got to make an effort to stay on the left side of it. Okay, so I'm going to turn my knife now. Still about an inch out. Let's feel for the burr. Okay. So I think I've established a burr that is, yeah, it's actually acceptable at this point. Okay, so now this might be the hard part. So I want to make sure my stone's straight. Okay, so my relation to the stone needs to be straight. Now I've got to deburr. So obviously the easy way is getting a cork or a piece of wood, but I want to see if I can deburr on the stone. Neighbor's car. Welcome to Sacramento. Okay. Let's make sure we have plenty of water. Okay, so this is the hard part. Okay, so now stroke, even strokes, even single strokes on the stone. Blind. Not the easiest thing to do. Let's see. Okay, so normally what I do from here is I do a couple of strokes per section as opposed to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 strokes per section, and we're going to deburr at this point. Okay, so a couple of strokes and move up the blade. Okay, and if I can feel the burr move to the other side, I'm done. Then I'll turn the knife over. Make sure I get the heel. Okay, so that was 2 passes, and the burr is somewhat flipped. I'm going to turn the knife over. Okay, do the same thing. that was the right side of the stone. I may have rolled my edge a little bit. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's just keep on moving forward. All right, so now I'm gonna do essentially just one stroke per side. How do I do that? Okay, so let's try this. So I'll start up here. Let me just get some. Ooh. That was a. Is that a jet over my house? That's a jet. That's a fighter jet. We are going to war, people. Okay. All right, so let's try this again. On the other side now. Oh boy. Ooh. This is really difficult. Okay. I wonder if I can start from the heel. Yeah, so start from the heel definitely is a little bit easier when you can't see where the tip of the knife and stone is. So heel to the edge. Heel to edge. It just dawned on me, I probably should not be using a Masamoto KS for this exercise. Darwin Awards. Ricky Tran takes first place in 2018. So what I'm doing now is before I even place the knife on the stone, I get my fingers on the spine. I'm using my other hand that's holding the knife to guide my fingers or guide my hand onto the stone or guide the knife onto the stone. And once it's there, then I move my fingers towards the cutting edge from the spine so I don't press the spine down. And then I just do a nice, even, gentle pull. On the other side, again, place my fingers on the spine, have my other finger on my other hand be the guide onto the stone. Once the knife is down, then I bring my counterbalance fingers on the cutting edge and do a slight pull. Okay, now feel for the edge. Okay, well, this is not going to be the sharpest knife you'll ever see on my channel. I will admit that. Okay, so I think the burr is mostly removed at this point. I will now go to the stropping phase. Okay, so here's the strop. I need a t-shirt, don't I? Dry the knife off. Okay, so let's dry the knife off. Okay. All right. Let's put this over here. Okay. So the strop, this is the strop that I've made. It's a Perfection strop. It's loaded with 14,000 grit Norton compound. And now, hopefully I won't cut my strop. So make sure the stone's a little bit further out. Yeah, okay. And this is the 12-inch strop. It's gonna give me plenty of room to work with here. So again, find the heel of the knife and go. Oh, okay. Now I can't go from heel to tip on the other side. So now I've got to do the old-fashioned. Okay, so let's turn the strop maybe. Okay, this way, this way. Okay, so we can try it this way. Okay, so the strop is now horizontal. That's not the right angle for me. Okay, let's try this again. So I'm gonna go backwards. Yeah, I have to go really slow. Maybe I can hold the strap. Oh boy, I just cut the leather. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Holding the strap in my left hand and going simply with my right hand, going from heel to tip on both sides. First I find where the strap is. I start at the heel. Oh, I rolled it slightly. Okay. Again, just very gentle strokes. The strap is a lot longer, and so I'm just not used to, well, obviously I'm not used to stropping without seeing it. There's more length than I'm actually using. My mind's playing tricks on me right now. Okay, so let's try to put this down again. Okay, let's go here. Nice broad strokes if I can. I'm very gentle right now. More gentle than I used to strop at because I just don't want the chance of the knife rolling or hitting anything that I can't see. Okay, so let's see the cutting edge now. Oh, not the sharpest edge out there. Let's drop a few more strokes here. Oh boy. Oh, did I move this strop? Okay, I can probably take this out. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. The stropping is a bit more difficult than I remembered. Okay. You know what I'm gonna try to do? I think what we can do is we are gonna just alter stropping a little bit. So I'm gonna strop it in sections. Like this. There's no rules that says you have to strop in one single stroke. And I'm gonna write that rule right now. Okay, and the other side. This is not ideal, it's not perfect, but I think it will work. Okay, let's do it one more time. That's off the edge there. So what I'm doing here is after each stroke, I use my fingers and walk down the cutting edge, just maybe a centimeter or so, and I go one section at a time. Doing my best to hold a straight angle, a very consistent angle. Okay, well, all right, I think we're done. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I can't see anything. Okay. Okay. Oh, these lights are bright normally, but they're extra bright when your eyes have been closed for, I don't know how long that video was. It's maybe half an hour. All right, so let's clean this area up. Okay. All right, so let's do a cut test. Okay, so the first thing everyone's wondering is how sharp is this knife? And I'm curious as well. Okay. Hey, look at that, 263. That's not bad. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, the edge actually feels okay. Feels okay. $266. Okay. All right. I feel really proud of myself. 266. You guys see that? Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, so this is the Edge On Up PT50A, which measures all of your cut force using a filament. Everything's measured in grams. So just so you guys know, it took 266 grams for this knife to produce a cut on the filament here. So in case you guys are wondering what device this is, that's what it is. Let's do a really really simple paper cut test. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Listen to the skips. Yeah, there are no skips on the cutting edge. Success. Okay. All right, so let's talk about this whole process. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Dean. So Agent 58, thank you for inspiring me to make this video. I know you didn't make me to ask. I know you didn't ask me to make this video, but it was something that came across my mind as I read your conversation or as we kind of conversed. And I just want to say thank you for being an inspiration. And I know, I don't know what it's like to have a stroke and to have lost, 90% of your eyesight in one eye and essentially everything in the other. I can't say that I can understand how you feel. And so I just want to thank you for sharing that, that part of your life with me and my audience. And and it's so cool that you ride a moto. That is so awesome. And so I just want to thank you for being an inspiration to me. And so I want to talk about the process here. So this video, I think I'm gonna leave the entire video uncut because I think it's worth leaving there. You guys can see all of my mistakes. So everything in the video is completely uncut. If there's a cut somewhere, it's probably because the battery died. It shows there's 1 bar left, but I will do my best to wrap this conversation up. So I'll walk you guys through what I used. I used a Trocera 800 and a leather strop that I made. This is a homemade strop that I make here for my use, and the Masimoto KS. So the Masimoto KS started its sharpness at, I think, 220 something, 226 I think, if I can remember correctly, and it ended at 263. So it's above the 10% sharpness difference that I was hoping for, but I cannot be more happy because this is still considered under 300, the sharpness level of a high-end new knife. And so I'm very satisfied with this edge, considering that this is my first time sharpening completely blindfolded. So the process, let's talk about the process real quickly here. The most challenging thing I have found in terms of what I used today was not being able to see. I couldn't see the edge of the stone. I had no idea where the edges were. So a number of times I actually rolled the knife's edge onto the stone, and actually the knife actually went off the stone as well. And so that was a little bit tricky. And so if you are finding yourself in this situation, make sure you take it very slow and apply very little pressure. If in those moments, had I applied more than a couple of pounds of pressure, I would have definitely ruined the knife's edge more than just rolling the edge. I probably would have cut the knife into the stone and potentially could have chipped the knife's edge. So, if you're in a similar situation as Dean and you are learning how to sharpen on a whetstone, please make sure that you apply very little pressure. The second thing I noticed that because my natural tendency in some situations, especially when sharpening the left side of the knife, I was actually pulling slightly to the right because I had to adjust my stance a little bit. I found myself rolling. After every 4 to 5 strokes, I would actually slightly move to the right side of the stone. And so when you're getting into this groove, make sure that you understand if your body tends to lean right or turn right or left. And so by understanding how your body moves, you will be able to compensate on the whetstone. Another thing that I've noticed, at least in the stropping phase, I actually found the stropping much more difficult than the sharpening. Because when you're sharpening, you're going back and forth and you're able to kind of have a little bit of muscle memory aid you in the sharpening process. On the strop, you don't have that muscle memory because you are lifting the knife off of the strop after every single stroke. And so because of that, I had to refine my edge and kind of refine where the tip of the knife is in relation to the strop. And I had to, go that way. And because because you can't see, you aren't exactly sure how much of the knife is off of the strop. And so I had to really readjust and really focus on knowing where the knife is in relation to the strop. I also couldn't go tip first on the strop because I just didn't know exactly, where to put the tip. So I had to go from heel. And so by going from heel and pulling towards the tip, it actually allowed me to have a much more consistent stroke and a much safer stroke as well. I wasn't digging the tip into the strop, which I've done a couple of times here. I've noticed that, I've never cut into my strops before, but after today, a couple of times I actually did poke the tip into the strop. And so that was definitely a challenge, but it really comes down to finding a guide. Once I understood, once I was able to develop a system. So what I was doing was I was using my left hand, and instead of actually getting the knife and the strop, or getting the knife and my left hand on the stone or on the strop at the same time, you can do that, but you can definitely risk cutting the knife into your hand because you don't know where your hand and your knife is, even though we know that if you want to put your right hand above your left, you could definitely do that just by exaggerating. But if you're trying to get both left hand and the knife onto the stone at the same time, at the same level, there's a very high risk of you cutting yourself. And so what I had to do was I had to use my left hand, place it onto my right hand most of the time, and then move from there to the spine of my knife. And then from there, move to the stone, and then slowly, kind of feel the stone, see where the knife is in relation to the stone, and start that way. And that, by doing it that way, by having a process where I move my hand onto my hand, and then onto the knife spine, it gave me a much better grasp of control, and it gave me a much better understanding of where the knife is on the strop and on the stone. So I definitely recommend that if you guys are starting out. And again, there's no one way to do this properly. I just found that as I was sharpening, as I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I move from tip to tip? How do I move from top of the stone to the bottom of the stone safely? How do I know where the stone is when I don't have the knife or my hand on the stone? I have found that by placing my hand on my holding hand and using and allowing that to move as one unit onto the stone, that made everything a lot safer. I'm very happy I didn't cut myself. So that's something I'm very grateful for, because I suspected that I would have nicked myself at least once or twice in this video. A couple of times I did come close when I pulled the knife off of the stone or ground into the edge of the stone or the corner of the stone by accident. So those were a couple of times where I could have definitely cut my hand pretty severely or fingers severely. That didn't happen. And I'm also very happy to report I haven't scratched the profile of my knife at all. So I was able to keep a consistent angle, even though my angle is probably not ideal and probably not perfect. But there are no scratches on the side, on the profile of my Masamoto, which I'm really happy about. Halfway through the sharpening, I commented I really should have used maybe something like a beater knife, like a $20 chef knife or something. But again, I used the Masamoto because I just didn't think that part through. Yeah, so this is, I'm going to leave the entire video. You guys will see the entire video unedited from A to Z. I hope I can do that in the editing room, as long as I didn't do anything really funny like sneeze or fart. Yeah, so I will put out a edited version as well, but I'm going to put out a full-length version first for those you guys who just want to see it. Then I'll put out the edited version at some point, maybe in a week or so. Or whenever I can get the thing edited. To me, the full-length version is much easier because I don't edit anything out, and it makes it just more real, and as if you guys are watching a live video. And Dean left a really, his comment, the very first comment of the conversation was he appreciates the detail I leave in my videos. And that was the point of my channel to begin with, was I want to show my viewers everything that I'm doing. Nothing is edited out. So oftentimes I get a lot of flack from people saying that I leave my videos too long. Well, the main point was for me to leave as much information as I can in these videos, so that when you guys are watching them, you guys don't miss a step. That I watch a lot of videos, or I used to watch videos on YouTube, whether tutorials or reviews, and they skip a lot of things, and I'm kind of wondering how they got from A to D. So the point of my videos being long is that you can see everything that I'm doing, and so hopefully this video is true to that. Yeah, so I am very happy with the cutting edge that I got today. I hope that this video is helpful to some of you guys out there. A number of you guys have requested other videos similar to this, and so I'll do my best to cater to my audience that may not have the use of two hands or the use of their eyes. And a number of you guys have actually reached out and have requested some other videos, so I will make those videos as well. So that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see more videos like it, and if you guys enjoy my content enough to subscribe, please subscribe. Okay, I lied. Here is an edit. So I want to just thank Dean for this video. So Dean, I am going to send you a strop. So this is a 12-inch strop. I'm going to send you the exact same strop that I used in this video. So Dean, this is for you, my friend. Hopefully you are still watching my videos. If you are, leave a comment in the comment section, and then I will pin your comment, and I'll reach out to you. Make sure you get one of these straps sent to your home. So I just want to thank you for that. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. Thank you for doing what you're doing and living life. So yeah, thank you, my friend, and I will catch the rest of you guys in the next video. Oh, my fingers are all still here.